It all starts with a Sunday barbecue. The setting is perfect. Family gathered, laughter, the smell of meat on the grill. Your son, or nephew, or younger brother calls you aside. He has that look of someone who needs a favor, but is too shy to ask. He shares the news. I found the house of my dreams. It's perfect for me and the kids. The price is great. You smile. You want to see him succeed in life. But then comes the but. The bank says my credit is a little low, or that my employment time is short. They need a cosigner just to approve the paperwork. It's just a formality, Dad. In 6 months, I'll improve my score, get a refinance, remove your name, and take over everything myself. I promise. You look at him. You love this person. You think, I have perfect credit, 800 plus. I have stability. It costs nothing to lend my name to help him get started. The real estate agent who only wants the commission reinforces the lie. It's super common. It's just to give you a little push. In 6 months, we'll do the debt restructuring and you'll be free. You go to the bank. You pick up the pen. That moment, that piece of blue plastic in your hand, that black ink on the paper, that was the moment you voluntarily placed your head on a financial guillotine. You didn't just help. You became 100% responsible for a $400,000 debt on a house you won't live in, won't have the key to, and won't control. To the bank, you're not the nice dad. You're the deep pockets. The bank knows your child is a risk. They only lent the money because they know that if things go wrong, they can take your house and your retirement savings. The first few months are like a honeymoon. Your son sends you pictures of the decorated house. You feel like a hero. Soon he'll refinance and I'll be out, you repeat to yourself. But the financial market doesn't care about your son's promises. 6 months pass. A year passes. You call him. So, son, what about the refinancing? Oh, Dad, the interest rates went up a bit. The manager said to wait for them to go down. But everything is under control. I'm paying on time. You accept. After all, no collection letter has arrived. But what you don't know is that his refinancing plan has just hit a concrete wall called DTI, debt to income. Your son bought an expensive new car. He maxed out his credit card. His debt-to-income ratio has exploded. No bank will refinance the house solely in his name. He needs your name on it forever. He knows this. But he won't tell you. He's afraid of disappointing you. So he starts hiding the truth. And the truth is, his money ran out. In month 13, he has to choose. Pay the installment on the new car or pay the mortgage. He chooses the car because he needs it for work or to keep up appearances. He doesn't pay the mortgage. He thinks, I'll pay double next month. You're at home, miles away, watching TV, relaxed. You don't know the ticking time bomb has been activated. The bank doesn't immediately call the cosigner on the first late payment. There's a 15-day grace period. Your son intercepts the mail arriving at his house. You're blind. Then one day you receive a notification on your cell phone. It's not from the bank. It's from your credit monitoring app, Credit Karma or Experian. Alert. Your score has dropped 90 points. You freeze. From 810 to 720 in one day. You open the details. Late payment, 30+ days, mortgage account, XXXX. Your blood boils. You call your son. Voicemail. You call again. Voicemail. He's avoiding you. The golden boy has become a ghost. You've just discovered the first brutal rule of the co-signer trap. You're the last to know, but the first to suffer. The bank reported the delay on your CPF, Brazilian tax ID. Now, if you try to buy a car or refinance your own house, you'll be denied. Their mistake has tarnished your 40-year reputation. Before we get to the explosive showdown, I need a confession in the comments. Comment, never, if you learned your lesson and would never be a guarantor for anyone, or I have, if you've made that mistake out of love. I know many of you are in that situation right now. Leave a like. If you want YouTube to show this warning to all well-meaning parents before it's too late, you get in your car and drive to his house. You go to knock on the door. You expect to find him sad, apologizing. But when he opens the door, his attitude is defensive. "Dad, stop being dramatic. It was just a delay. I'll fix it. You're pressuring me." He turns the tables. He makes you feel guilty for chasing him. "I tried to refinance, but the bank refused. It's the bank's fault, not mine." He hands you the bank's rejection letter. Refinance denied, insufficient income, high DTI. Reality hits. He can't remove your name. He's financially incapable. You're stuck. And next month's mortgage is due in 5 days. He looks at you and says the phrase that will haunt you. "Dad, I don't have the money this month either. If you don't pay, the bank will ruin your credit again." It's emotional blackmail mixed with financial terror. Will you pay, or will you let your credit plummet? In the next chapter, we'll see you opening your wallet to save your own name. You'll start paying the mortgage on a house you don't live in. And you'll discover that your partner, your son, is using the leftover money to travel and dine out while you burn through your savings. The trap has closed. You open your bank app. Your fingers tremble slightly. You type in your password. You transfer $2,500 from your retirement account to your son's mortgage account. You click confirm. The money is gone. You've just paid for a house you don't live in, for hot water you don't take, and for a roof over a family that's lying to you. But you tell yourself, it's only for a few months, until he gets his act together. I can't let my 800 credit score turn to garbage. I need to refinance my house next year. I'm a hostage to my own good name. The problem is that your son has realized this. He's realized you have more to lose than he does. If his credit drops, he doesn't care. Things are already bad enough. But if yours drops, you lose sleep. This creates a perverse dynamic called moral hazard. Since you're paying the bill, he doesn't feel the pain of the cost. And those who don't feel pain don't change their attitude. A week after you paid off his mortgage, you're scrolling through your Instagram feed. You see a new picture of your son. He's at an expensive steakhouse, full table, wine, smiles. The caption, "Celebrating life with family." Gratitude. The blood rushes to your head in a way you've never felt before. It's a mix of anger, betrayal, and disbelief. He said he didn't have money. He cried in front of you saying he was broke. But he has $300 to spend on dinner. You realize the brutal reality. He's dining out with your money. The money he should have used for the mortgage he used on the steak because he knew Daddy's bank would cover the hole in the house. You drive to his house the next morning. You don't ring the doorbell. You walk in. After all, you pay for it, right? You walk into the living room. He's watching TV on a giant new 65-inch flat screen. "We need to talk," you say, your voice trembling with anger. He's startled. "Dad, what happened?" "I saw dinner. I saw the new TV. You said you were broke." He tries the defensive tactic again. "I deserve to relax. I work hard. You want to control my life just because you helped me once? Did you help once?" you shout. "I own this debt. It's over. The party's over. We're going to sell the house." You lay your cards on the table. "The market has gone up. The house is worth more than the debt. We'll sell it, pay the bank, clear my name, and you can take the remaining profit and rent a place." It's the logical solution. It's the emergency exit. But your son crosses his arms. His gaze changes. He's no longer a son asking for help. He's a hostile stranger. "No," he says. "What do you mean, no?" you ask. "I'm not going to sell. My children like the school here. I like the neighborhood. I'm not going back to renting." "You have no choice," you retort. "I'm the owner. And here's the co-signer trap that the realtor forgot to tell you about at the Sunday barbecue. Being a co-borrower, co-debtor on the mortgage gives you 100% responsibility for the debt. But being a co-owner on the deed title gives you only 50% of the decision-making power, or less, depending on how the title was written. To sell a house in the U.S., you need the signature of all the owners listed on the deed. If your name and his are on the deed, joint tenants, you can't sell without his signature. You might want to sell. The bank might want to get paid. The Pope might want to bless the sale. But if your son says, "I won't sign," the house isn't listed. No real estate agency will accept the contract. You call a real estate lawyer, desperate. "Can I force the sale?" you ask. "Yes," says the lawyer. "It's called a partition action. You sue your son. It costs $10,000 to $15,000 in fees and takes 12 to 18 months. You hang up. You don't have $15,000 to sue your own son. And even if you did, the process would take a year. Who's going to pay the mortgage during that year of legal battle? You. Because if you stop paying during the process, the house goes to foreclosure before the judge decides on the division, and your credit is destroyed anyway. You're in a perfect dead end. You can't sell, he won't sign. You can't stop paying, your credit dies. You can't refinance, his credit is garbage. You've become a walking wallet. Your son knows this, and he's going to exploit it to the last penny. The following month arrives. This time, he doesn't even pretend to pay. He doesn't even call you. He simply doesn't pay, knowing that on the 15th, Dad will receive the credit alert and rush to cover it. You've become his private retirement plan, but the drain is starting to affect your life. You cancel your vacations. You stop buying a new car. You start taking money from your emergency medical savings. Your wife or husband starts arguing with you. You're destroying our future because of that irresponsible person. The cosigner trap doesn't just destroy finances, it destroys marriages. And then the letter from the bank arrives, adding insult to injury. The bank reviewed the escrow account, custody for taxes and insurance. Because the property value went up, the property tax went up. Because there were hurricanes in the region, or just inflation, the insurance went up. Escrow shortage notice. The monthly payment will increase by $400 to cover the shortfall. The already burdensome payment has now become unbearable. You call your son to tell him about the increase. "Oh, it's okay," he says indifferently. You deal with it. Anger turns to hatred. You start wishing the house would burn down. Metaphorically, or not. You start thinking about guerrilla tactics. What if I cut off the electricity, you think? Is the electricity bill in my name? No, it's in his. What if I go there and change the locks? Illegal. He lives there. It's established residence. You realize you only have one card up your sleeve. A dangerous card. The nuclear option. Let the ship sink. Stop paying. Accept the destruction of your 800-point credit. Let the bank initiate foreclosure. It's a game of who blinks first. Chicken game. You bet that when the bailiff knocks on the door with the eviction notice, your son will be so afraid of losing his roof over his head that he'll find a way to pay or sign the sale. But what if he doesn't blink? What if he's so irresponsible that he'd rather be evicted than work? Before we see if you have the courage to press the nuclear button, I need to know your opinion. Comment here. Cut the cord if you think the father should stop paying and let the credit explode to teach him a lesson, or protect the score if you think the $800 credit is worth more than pride and he should keep paying until he sells. This decision divides families. Leave a like if you're feeling the pressure rising. You decide to bluff. You send a message. I don't have any more money. I'm not paying this month. Figure it out. Foreclosure is coming. You expect him to panic. But his response is terrifying. Okay, if the bank takes it, it takes it. I don't own anything anyway. The loss is all yours, Dad. He has nothing to lose. You have everything. The bluff failed. In the next chapter, the nightmare escalates. You discover that your son, needing extra money for his lifestyle, has rented out one of the rooms to a stranger. Illegal subletting. And this stranger, well, let's just say he's turned the basement into a chemical lab or an illegal dog kennel. The house is being destroyed from the inside. Its resale value is plummeting, and you're still footing the bill. 30 days have passed since your failed ultimatum. You blinked. When the 30-day delay notice threatened to tarnish your credit, fear outweighed anger. You paid the mortgage again. Your son won the tug-of-war. He now knows you're a paper tiger. You roar, but you don't bite because you're afraid of losing your 800 score. But something doesn't smell right, literally and figuratively. You've noticed strange activity in your child's bank account, if you still have access to it, or seen social media posts that don't match the reality of someone broke. He bought a PlayStation 5. He went on a weekend trip. Where did this money come from? He said he barely had enough to eat. On a Tuesday morning, you decide to pay a surprise visit. You don't warn anyone. You have a spare key, or you think you do. When you get to the street, you see two unfamiliar cars parked in the driveway. One of them is leaking oil onto the new pavement you paid for. The other has a broken window covered with plastic. Your stomach churns. You go to the door. You try to put the key in. It won't turn. He changed the lock. You bang on the door, furious. "Open this door." The door opens. But it's not your son. It's a strange man, about 40 years old, wearing only an old t-shirt and boxer shorts, holding a bowl of cereal. He looks at you with sleepy, or perhaps otherwise, red eyes. "Who are you?" you ask, shocked. "Who are you, man?" he replies, chewing. "I live here. I rent the downstairs room." The world stops for a second. "You rent?" you stammer. "You pay rent?" "Of course, $800 a month. My girlfriend and I pay in cash to the landlord, your son's name, every first of the month." The revelation hits you like a punch in the gut. It's called rent skimming. Your son, the poor guy who couldn't pay the mortgage, has been illegally subletting rooms in the house. He's collecting $800, or maybe more if there are others, every month. And what does he do with that money? Does he pay the mortgage? No, he pockets it. He spends it on dinners and video games, while you, the idiot father, are taking money from your retirement to pay for the roof over this stranger's head. You're subsidizing your son's profit. You're the angel investor in a scam against yourself. You push open the door and enter, ignoring the stranger's protests. "Where's my son?" you yell. The smell hits you first. It's not the smell of home. It's the smell of wet dog, old cigarettes, and accumulated trash. You look into the living room. The light beige carpet, which was immaculate a year ago, is stained black and brown. There are holes in the drywall where someone or something has hit it hard. The kitchen is a war zone of dirty dishes with crusts from days. This isn't just a mess, it's waste. Property damage. In the mortgage contract, there's a clause stating that the borrower must maintain the property in good condition. If the house deteriorates to the point of losing market value, the bank may consider it a technical default. You look around. This house was worth $450,000 when you bought it. In its current state, with this smell, with these dubious tenants, nobody would pay more than $350,000. The house is underwater. The debt is $400,000. The real value now is $350,000. If you sell today, you have to take a check for $50,000 to the closing desk to cover the difference. You're stuck. You can't sell without a loss. You can't refinance. And the majority partner is destroying the asset. Your son appears at the top of the stairs, awakened by the shouting. He seems frightened, but his expression quickly changes to that of a child caught misbehaving who knows he won't be punished. "Dad, you can't just barge into my house like that. The tenant will call the police," he yells. "Your house?" You laugh hysterically. "This house is my debt, and the rent money, where is it? I need it to live. I have expenses." He defends himself without any remorse. You feel an uncontrollable urge to break everything. But you can't. If you break it, you pay. You leave the house, trembling. The stranger in his underwear watches you from the doorway, laughing. You go back to the car. And there, On the passenger seat is the mail you picked up from the mailbox before going in, because of course, he doesn't pick up the mail. A yellow envelope from the bank. You open it. Notice of intent to foreclose. It turns out that last month, when you made the transfer to pay the mortgage, there was a mistake. Or maybe the Homeowners Association HOA fee went up and the payment was $50 short. The bank rejected the partial payment. The mortgage is now 45 days overdue. The foreclosure process has officially begun. Your $800 credit just got the final blow. It dropped to $680. But the letter contains a worse threat, one you weren't aware of. At the bottom, in small print, it says, "In the event of a judicial sale for a value lower than the debt, the creditor reserves the right to seek a deficiency judgment against all signatories of the promissory note to cover the remaining balance." What does this mean? It means that if the bank takes the house and sells it for $300,000 because it's dilapidated and the debt is $400,000, the bank will not forgive the remaining $100,000. The bank will sue you. They can seize your house, the one you live in. They can seize your bank account. They can seize your salary. Your son has no assets. He is judgment-proof, insolvent. You are the target. You have assets. The bank will eat your retirement savings to pay for your son's party. Before we see his desperate reaction, I need a popular jury vote here in the comments. Comment eviction. If you think the father should call the police, report the illegal rent, and try to forcibly kick his son out onto the street, or bankruptcy, if you think he should protect himself financially and let the bank take everything. What hurts more, betraying his son or losing his retirement? Leave a like if the rent-skimming story made you angry. You call a lawyer on the way back. "I want to get my name off the lien, now," you shout. The lawyer calmly replies, "Sir, the only way to get your name off the lien is to pay off the entire debt or refinance. The bank doesn't release co-signers. You are their guarantor." "And what if I sue my son to sell the house?" With the house worth less than the debt underwater, you'll spend $15,000 on lawyers to force a sale that will generate a $50,000 loss that you'll have to pay. It's throwing good money after bad. You switch off. You're driving. You feel a pain in your chest. The stress is real. You realize you've created a monster. Your son has no incentive to go out. He lives rent-free or for profit, destroys the house. And if everything goes wrong, daddy pays or daddy loses his retirement. But what if there's a way to turn the tables, a dirty way? Your son is illegally renting out rooms. He hasn't declared this income to the IRS. He doesn't have a permit from the city. The house probably violates fire codes with that stranger in the basement. Can you report the house to the city? If the city red tags the house, everyone has to leave, including your son. If the house is empty, you can change the locks, clean up the mess, and try to sell it, even at a loss, before the auction. It's a scorched earth tactic. You'll call the authorities on your own property. You'll generate fines against your own name. But it's the only way to get rid of the parasite. In the next chapter, you'll make the anonymous call to code enforcement. You'll watch the police and firefighters evict your son and the illegal tenants, but you'll discover that eviction is the easy part. The hard part is what they leave behind. Concrete in the pipes, ripped out wiring, and a hate message painted on the living room wall. The evicted son's revenge will be brutal. You're sitting in your car, parked 2 blocks away, phone in hand. Your palms are sweating. You just dialed the city's Department of Buildings. You made an anonymous report. Single-family home, operating as an illegal boarding house, overcrowding, fire hazard, and exposed wiring in the basement. You hung up feeling like a Judas. You just handed your own child over to the government, but it was that, or lose your pension. At 7 a.m., the cavalry arrives, a fire marshal's car, a police car, and a code enforcer. They knock on the door. There's no negotiation. They enter. You watch from a distance. You see the lights flashing. You see the illegal tenants, the man in his underwear and his girlfriend, leaving with backpacks, cursing. And then you see your son. He's being escorted out by the police officer. He's not handcuffed, but he's humiliated. He's furious. He looks at the street. He knows it was you. He picks up his cell phone and angrily types something. Your phone doesn't ring. He didn't text you. He texted someone else. Or maybe he's just posting his final hate speech. The inspector sticks a bright orange sticker on the front door. Unsafe to occupy, red tagged. The house is empty. The plan worked. You wait for them to leave. You drive to the driveway. You feel a lump in your throat. You won, but you just left your child on the street. You call a locksmith to break down the door. Since you're the legal owner and the house is empty, you can go in to make repairs. The locksmith opens the door. "It smells bad in here, boss," he says, covering his nose. You go inside. What you see isn't just a mess. What you see is pure malice. In the 20 minutes between the police arriving and him leaving, or perhaps the night before when he suspected something was going to happen, his son executed the scorched earth policy. The drywall in the living room is riddled with holes from sledgehammer blows. All the kitchen cabinets have been ripped off their hinges and thrown on the floor. But that's cosmetic. The real horror is structural. You go to the bathroom. There's a hardened grey substance in the toilet and sink, quick-drying concrete. He poured cement into the pipes. The entire house's sewer system is petrified. To fix it, you'll have to break up the foundation slab and redo all the piping. Estimated cost, $30,000. You run to the basement. It's dark. The lights don't turn on. You use your cell phone flashlight. You look at the electrical panel. It's empty. He ripped out the copper wiring. He took the circuit breaker panel, and on the living room wall, spray-painted in large black letters, is the final message: "Now it's all yours, Dad." You fall to your knees. The house was worth $450,000 in good condition. It was worth $350,000 dirty. Now, with destroyed plumbing, no electricity, no cabinets, and condemned by the city, it's a shell. It's worth maybe $200,000. The value of the land. The debt is $400,000. You're underwater for $200,000. But then a hopeful thought surges in your desperate brain. The insurance. You pay homeowners insurance every month on your mortgage. It covers fire, theft, and vandalism. That was vandalism, of course. Someone destroyed your house. You feel a sense of relief. The insurance company will pay for the repairs. I'll fix everything, sell it, and maybe break even. You call the insurance company, State Farm, Allstate, etc. You file a claim. The adjuster comes the next day. He takes pictures. He shakes his head. "Severe damage," he says. "Looks intentional." "Yes," you say. "It was vandalism. I want the check to fix it." "Who did this?" he asks. You hesitate. If you lie and say, "I don't know," it's insurance fraud. The police have the report of your son's eviction. The graffiti says, "Dad." It's obvious who did it. It was a relative who lived here. We had a fight and he was evicted, you admit. The expert stops writing. He closes the folder. "I'm sorry, sir. I'll send the report to headquarters, but I must warn you that it will probably be denied." Denied? Why? I pay for vandalism insurance. And here's the family-destroying trap, the intentional damage exclusion clause. Most homeowners' insurance policies have a line that says, "We do not cover losses intentionally caused by or under the direction of any insured." The problem, your son is the co-borrower. His name is on the deed. His name is probably on the policy as named insured or household member. To the insurance company, it wasn't a criminal who destroyed the house. It was one of the owners. If the owner destroys their own house, the insurance doesn't pay. It would be like setting fire to your own house to get the money. The fact that he destroyed it and you are the victim doesn't matter. You are a single entity under the policy. His vandalism voids your coverage. The denial letter will arrive in 3 days. Claim denied. Reason: intentional damage caused by an insured resident. You're standing in the middle of a ruined concrete and broken plaster house. You owe the bank $400,000. The house is worth $200,000 if you're lucky. You don't have the money to fix it. You need $100,000. The insurance company denied your claim. The city fined you $5,000 for code violations, and the bank just scheduled the auction for 20 days from now. Your son's plan worked perfectly. He destroyed the asset to ensure you were left with nothing. If he can't have the house, nobody can. That's the mentality of a financial psychopath. Before we see the tragic ending and the only possible way out, I need some honest feedback. Comment: monster if you think the son deserves to be imprisoned, or parents' fault if you think the father spoiled him too much and created this behavior. Where did the upbringing go wrong? Leave a like if you were shocked by the insurance exclusion. Many people don't know about this. You have 20 days. The bank will sell the house as is. They'll sell it for peanuts. You'll be left with a debt deficiency of $150,000 or $200,000. The bank will come after you to collect that difference. They'll foreclose on your primary residence. They'll ruin your retirement. You need a lawyer, but not a real estate lawyer. You need a bankruptcy lawyer. You, the man who was proud of his 800 credit score, who paid all his bills on time for 40 years, are now Googling how to declare bankruptcy at 60. It's the only way to stop the auction, clear toxic debt, discharge, and protect your retirement. 401k accounts and IRAs are usually protected in bankruptcy. But declaring bankruptcy means admitting total defeat. It means that the kindness of being a guarantor has cost you your financial reputation for life. You call your son one last time. The phone rings. He answers. "Hello?" he says with the voice of someone at a party. "The insurance company denied it," you say, crying. "I'm going to have to declare bankruptcy. I've lost everything." The silence on the other end lasts 3 seconds. "That's a shame, Dad," he says emotionlessly. "But look, I'm busy right now. Don't call me anymore, okay? I'm trying to move on." He hangs up. In the next and final chapter, we'll see bankruptcy court day. Chapter 7. The moment you raise your right hand and swear you're broke. And the final twist, how the bank might decide not to forgive the debt if they prove there was intentional waste, and how you might end up being criminally prosecuted by the city because of the mess your child left behind. The nightmare doesn't end with the auction. You're in a windowless room lit by buzzing fluorescent lights. It's not the imposing courtroom you see in movies. It's a functional conference room in the federal building. You're sitting in a hard plastic chair. Next to you is your bankruptcy lawyer, a man who charges $2,000 to guide you through the abyss. At the head of the table, there's no judge in a robe. There's a trustee. He's the gatekeeper. His job is to scour your life and see if you're hiding money. Your moment has arrived. 341st meeting of creditors. The trustee turns on the recorder. "Raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth?" "I swear," you whisper. "Do you declare that you are insolvent and unable to pay your debts?" This question hurts more than a punch. You, who always paid everything on time. You, who were proud of never owing anything. Now you are admitting to the federal government that you have failed. "Yes," you answer. The bank's lawyer, the one from your son's mortgage, is present. He's there to try and prevent the debt from being forgiven. He raises a cruel point. "Your Honor, the property was intentionally destroyed. Waste." The bank argues that this debt should not be forgiven, non-dischargeable, because there was malice involved. If the trustee agrees, you lose the house and remain indebted for the $200,000 in damages forever. Your lawyer stands up. He shows you the police report. He shows you the complaint you filed with the city hall. He shows you the photos of the cement in the plumbing. My client is the victim, not the perpetrator, he argues. He tried to save the asset. It was the co-debtor, the son, who committed the vandalism. The trustee reviews the papers. The silence is agonizing. Finally, he nods. It seems the father was deceived. I don't see collusion. The bank assumes the risk when lending to volatile co-signers. The hammer strikes, metaphorically. Chapter 7. Discharge granted. What does that mean? The mortgage debt, $400K, is cleared from your name. The credit card debt, which you used to pay his mortgage, is erased. The bank is left with its house destroyed. Your retirement savings, 401K, IRA, is protected by federal law, ERISA. The bank cannot touch it. You move out of the building. You won. You saved your old age. But the cost was your identity. Your credit score is now 500. It will be marked with bankruptcy for 10 years. You can't finance a car. You can't get a decent credit card. If you want to move, no landlord will accept you without a huge deposit. You are a financial outcast. 6 months later, you're at the supermarket buying the essentials. Now you're living on a tight budget. You see someone in the express checkout line. It's him, your son. He's tanned. He's wearing new clothes. He's laughing on the phone. You look out at the parking lot. He gets into a new car, a shiny SUV. How? Probably in his new girlfriend's name, or a friend's. Or maybe he found another naive co-signer to exploit. He doesn't seem traumatized. He doesn't carry the shame you carry. For him, it was just a bad deal. He reset his life and moved on. You carry the scar alone. You realize the ultimate truth about the co-signer trap. You weren't helping your son. You were enabling his behavior. By giving him a house he couldn't afford, you robbed him of the chance to grow, to fight, to learn the value of money. And by positioning yourself as a shield, you ensured that when the grenade exploded, you would receive the shrapnel, not him. You returned to your house, your primary residence, which thankfully survived bankruptcy thanks to homestead exemption. You sit on the porch. The phone rings. It's your favorite niece. She just graduated from college. Hi, Uncle. How are you? So, I found a beautiful apartment, but I need a guarantor because my credit history is short. Your heart stops. The cycle tries to repeat itself, but this time you're a different man. You're a war survivor. You take a deep breath and say the most important word in the financial vocabulary. A word that would have saved you $200,000 and 5 years of your life if you had said it back then. No. But Uncle, she insists. I love you, darling. But the answer is no. If the bank doesn't trust you to lend them their money, why should I risk the money I've spent 40 years saving? Build your credit. Start small. But do it yourself. You switch off. You feel a peace you haven't felt in years. You lost perfect credit. You lost your relationship with your son. You lost nights of sleep. But you regained control of your life.